What's up YouTube? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky and today's video is all about why a rental car license is way more important than Turo and why you should never have all your eggs in one basket. Now before I get into this, if you can do me a huge favor and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, it also find more amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. Also, if you consider subscribing, I post epic stuff like this all the time, and click the notification bell and let's get into the video. Okay guys, I've had this question asked all the time, like should I get my rental car license? Should I do this? Should I do this? My advice to you is always have multiple ways to make money. Never rely on just one, because I don't know if you guys know, but since Turo came out, there's been 7 other apps just like it that got just as big and winded up dying or getting kicked off the platform. So you never want to base all of your income off of one particular thing. So if you plan on renting cars for a living, I strongly recommend getting a rental car license. There's a lot of perks and benefits on why, and there's a lot of good things you need to learn about it if you're going to get into this type of business. But one of the things I want to tell you guys is, like I said, you never want to put all your eggs in one basket, and I see way too many people do this. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why and examples of why you should never base everything on Turo. Now the first one is my buddy Justin here in Las Vegas. He's a good guy, got really popular with Turo, just blew up. Now he's got about 40 something cars. Well, once he got big and he got super host status, or pro host, I think he's above that now. He was doing very well, but he got busy. He's making a lot of money, so he doesn't have time to deal with every single little customer. And what happened was he had 3 customers in a row give him very bad reviews because he was very short with them on the phone. Well, Turo just out of the blue said, you know what, we don't like the way you're treating our customers, we don't like the way you're doing business, kicked him off the platform. So now his whole business model has been relied on Turo. And I told him this from the get-go, you never rely on Turo. You get multiple things, so like you want to do Turo, you want to do hire car, and you get your rental car license. So this way you have multiple ways to make money. So if one slows down, one dies, one falls off, you still have other avenues to make money. And I believe that what a lot of the people are doing nowadays is they're so hung up on Turo because it's so cheap, it's so easy, that they're falling for it. And people are in for a lot of heartache because I've seen a lot of people get kicked off the platform for really weird reasons. I had one of our clients, they put in a vehicle that had a salvage history before. They didn't realize it. It was a clear title when they bought it, but somehow along the process it ended up getting rebuilt. They got kicked off the platform because when Turo did a random audit, they audited that VIN and saw it was a rebuilt car, and they kicked them off the platform. 3 years, I think they're like a 4.95 or something as far as stars go, and reviews. I mean, 0 complaints, major complaints, no bad demerits against their name, nothing. But just because they had that one thing, they got kicked off the platform. So if you're listening to this, never rely all your business off of one source of income. Like I said, start up on hire car. If you could start off your rental car business with 2 or 3 cars, do it. Put one on Turo, put one on hire car, and while you're doing this, you're building up reviews on both little by little until you find out which one works best for you. And then even if one works better than the other, don't give up on the other one, because depending on what state and city you live in, there are seasons and there's things that change with the economy. So I see a lot of people doing really, really well with Turo during, regular time and tax season and stuff like that. But once tax season's gone and all the stimulus ballers are gone, these people don't have the extra money. So all of a sudden a hire car picks up because it's more people using their cars for like Postmates, Uber Eats, Lyft, Uber, stuff like that. So there's more people using their cars to make money. So like I said, don't ever back yourself into a corner. And one of the reasons why I strongly recommend you guys get a rental car license is it gives you a number of options. We've talked about this before in a few other videos. Also, it's in all my classes. With rental car license, it gives you more options to be legit. What I mean by that, the first one is your actual storefront. You have the opportunity to rent to the general public, which is huge. There's no fees from Turo, anything else like that. You can add insurance onto your vehicles and charge them. There's a few other things you can make extra money on that you can't with Turo, and this gives you the option to do that. Also, when you have your own rental car license, you can rent hourly, daily, and weekly. it gives you much more flexibility. So if you have a customer that says, look, I just need this Lamborghini for a wedding, blah, 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 you can be like, no problem, 800 bucks, you could take it for 2 hours, take some pictures, bring it back. You know, you made 800 bucks, they literally drove the car, took pictures, brought it back, no big deal. We rent them out for like movie sets and photo shoots all the time. It's really quick, very easy money. Another one, like I said, is weekly. You'll get these people that'll actually, you know, want to be in their cars long term, everything from traveling nurses to Uber and Postmates, stuff like that. You can offer these types of rent to own programs when you actually have a rental car license. If you're just doing it on Turo, you're not allowed to do it. And if you do it and you get caught, they're going to kick you off the platform. So, you know, and plus, once you start running bi-weekly, it gets very expensive with Turo. So you could save that money with your actual rental car license and pass those savings on to the customer to get them into a longer term rental. Now, not only do you get those benefits, you know, of having that, but like I said, you actually get the storefront. You have the options to rent what I call multiple vehicles. So when you get your rental car license, you could rent cars, trucks, SUVs, boats, jet skis, RVs. You know, the sky's the limit. You want to rent trailers, you know, if trailers are really big in your area. The rental car industry is so huge, and you guys are only seeing about this much of it. You know, every time I get off a consulting call or we go over to a customer's dealership or rental car company and we start telling them other ways we use to make money, it blows their minds, because the rental car industry is, like I said, is completely huge. Anything you could think of, any car you see driving around, there's somebody that needs that car temporarily, you know, for a little bit of time. You know, you've heard me talk about like box trucks and U-Hauls. They're insane money. You know, if you guys want to do me a favor, get on the phone and call your local box truck company and say, hey, do you have a box truck with a lift gate? If you do, how much is it per hour and is it available? I guarantee you they're always sold out because Amazon always takes them. They're usually about $300 to $400 a day, probably more. And those trucks you can buy from $15,000 to $30,000. So you're getting a massive return, you know, without spending $60,000, $70,000 on like a luxury SUV or car, where you could buy 2 or 3 of these cars and box trucks and make the exact same amount of money with less risk. So, you know, like I said, there's tons of ways you can make money, and there's tons of options you can have when you have your actual rental car license. But if you're stuck with Turo, you're only allowed to rent what's allowed on that platform, and that is it. You know, we talked, a lot of people were upset because some of their cars were a little bit older, they have a little bit more miles. When you have your rental car license, those things don't come into factor. You could have a 1988 Pontiac Grand Prix. As long as it runs and drives and passes safety inspection, you are allowed to rent it. And you could rent it for $100 a week. Doesn't matter. Some people don't even care about the car. They just need a basic piece of transportation to get them back and forth to work. That's it. You could offer this. So, like I said, the rental car business with the licensing is huge. The next thing we're going to talk about is your actual lines of credit. When you're on Turo, a lot of these guys, and I've seen them online, you know, oh, buy 17 cars in your personal name, max out your credit, and you'll never be able to buy a car again. Don't do that. If you do it correctly and you get a rental car license, you can actually have access to rental car lines of credit, which there are companies out there that do it for you. You know, we set you up with companies that actually will get you lines of credit, show you how to buy cars, put you on a program, so this way you could buy, you know, 5 or 6 cars, try it out, and then you just keep adding cars to your fleet. A lot of people do that. Once they rent them out for 14 to 17 days in a row, they just keep adding more and more and trying different cars to grow your fleet, and that's how you do it. You know, so you could do it the correct way. Now, once you have the actual lines of credit, it'll give you so many more options when it comes to growing your business. And you could only do that if you actually have a rental car license. Not a super host on Turo, not an amazing person on HireCar or whatever else. You need to be a legit regular business. Now, one of the last things that I tell people that's highly recommended when it comes to actually getting your rental car license is your insurance. Now, one of the most expensive things you guys are going to find when it comes to becoming in this business is your insurance. If you have under 10 cars, you're going to have to get a generic commercial policy. And these policies are going to be extremely expensive. They're going to be $300, $400 a month per car. And even if they're complete junk cars, you're going to pay a lot of money. And the worst part is you can never call on a claim because they will double your insurance. So now you're paying all this money for insurance, but once you get over 10 cars, you can apply with an insurance association, which allows you to basically be a small little person under somebody else's umbrella for their car insurance. So now you're able to get in underneath there, save some money, build your company out, and everything else, and you could slowly start growing. Where now you don't want to have 6, 7 full coverage insurances through your own personal name. And like I said, if anything happens, you, the person, gets all the check marks go against you. So you don't want to get kicked off your own personal insurance. You don't want to be blackballed to other people's insurance, and you don't want to have to pay a bunch of money to a commercial insurance policy. So you have to start off, like I said, with a license to get started, but after you go for a little while, like I said, you will get savings. The whole point of, like I said, getting this license is to give you the opportunity to be legit, and it costs a little bit of money, but in time, as you grow, the costs start to go down. You get better, you get smarter, your costs of overhead go down, and you become a smarter business owner, and everything else turns around. Where Turo, I know it's very tempting because you can literally just start with an iPad in your bedroom and rent out your vehicle. But like I said, I wanted to make this video because there are so many people that are just misleading people on YouTube. There's a lot of people that don't know any better. I've seen a lot of questions of like, well, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to get a rental car license. And I'm like, oh, okay, how long have you been doing Turo? Oh, like 2 years. 2 years, you already would have been built up having, a $300,000-$400,000 minimum line of credit with a few of our vendors. You'd probably be on your second or fourth line, growing your company and maybe having multiple locations. So there's much more benefits with going legit. And like I said, having the flexibility to rent different cars at different times to anybody else on the platform. Plus, you get to go with retail customers. Turo, yeah, you make a little bit of money, but with regular cars, regular consumers, you make way more money. Let's say you're making $60 online through Turo, and they're taking, 30% of that. Well, you're making $60 from your person, plus you're charging them, let's say, $25 a day for insurance. They're renting it for 3 days. Your insurance cost is $10. You're making an extra $15 a day plus your $60. Plus you can offer them other additional insurances, to gross your numbers even higher. So there's much more options when it comes to making money with your actual rental car license. Now, sorry, I didn't mean to rant and rave, but there's a lot of people being misled about Turo being the end-all be-all. So if you've taken anything from this video, please get your rental car license. Don't screw around with Turo. You want to start with Turo and hire a car and learn the platforms. It's a great way to get started. But if you've been doing this for longer than 6 months, you need to stop, look in the mirror, and say, what do I really want to do? And start getting your business license. Because like I said, once you do that, all the doors will open up for you, and there's far more opportunities, and it's much easier to get lines of credit and to build your company with that compared to if you're just doing it on Turo. So anyways, like I said, if you've learned anything, please smash the like button. I truly appreciate it. Also, if you consider subscribing, I would also appreciate that as well. Please click the notification bell, and if you have any comments, please put them in the section below. I answer every single one myself, none of my staff, just me. Also, if you can, follow me on Instagram at automotive.life. And we'll see you next video.